EURUSD, we start with the daily chart. Okay, based on daily chart, as we can see, we have the price dropping from here. And if you refer back to my last video analysis, we mentioned that we are looking for the down move, but we are more interested if the price can break this top before we get the down move. That's why we mentioned that maybe we get the bigger correction here for the continuation before we get the down move. And beside that, we mentioned that the possibility that this is the start of the down move. That means the price can start to drop from here without giving us a bigger correction and breaking this top also is there. Okay, but we mentioned that if the price can break this top before we get the down move, it can give us a better trade setup. Anyway, now we want to see whether this is the start of the down move or we can expect a bigger correction for the continuation before we get the down move. Okay, anyway, we don't have any trade setup based on daily chart. The only thing is we have this down, the price is dropping. Okay, we don't have much more information. Now we want to see how we can trade. We move to lower time frame. Okay, if we refer to the lower time frame, when we compare this one in relative to this, based on MACD, we have a divergence. But how, whether we, I mean, if the price move lower, it can keep or not, and here as well. Okay, same as usual, the divergence is nothing to us because there is a possibility the price can drop some more. Then based on MACD, we won't have the divergence. Okay, that's why we don't trade based on the divergence. We just use for to help our analysis. Okay, now the thing is, based on forward chart, even in my last video, I mentioned the most safest ways to buy. If you wanna look for buy, let the price break this trend line, give a correction before we look for buy. And buying within this range is quite risky, based on the lower time frame. Later we explain. Even in my last video analysis, we explain based on 1 hour chart how we can trade it. Okay, but right now we don't have any trade setup here for buy. The only thing is we want to see what we will get here. Whether this is going to be a correction for the price to drop some more. That means we can look for the sell. Okay, but based on what we have right now, this is not enough for us to give us one more sell setup. In this case, that means we don't have any trade setup based on forward chart. In this case, we move to lower time frame. We see how we can trade based on lower time frame. Okay, as I say, based on forward chart, even right now, even we explain based on 1 hour chart, if we want to look for sell, we want to get the correction here before we look for sell. Okay, is it what we have right now is enough for the sell? I don't think it's enough. We need to wait quite more time to get a better trade setup. How about if the price drop from here within this small correction? Yes, there is a possibility, but I don't think we can get a really good trade setup. Okay, anyway, if you want to look for sell, we need to wait and get the trade setup within this correction. That means we need to get the bigger correction before we get the down move. Rather than that, we cannot trade it. And for buy, we don't have any buy setup as well. The buy, again, the best things is we get the breakout of the trend line before we get the next move up. Or if we want to trade within this, I don't think we can get a really good trade, because if we want to trade within this, we need to get any sharp move with small flag before we get the trade. And even if we get the trade for buy within this range, below the trend line, as long as the price come to this trend line, we need to start to manage it. Maybe because we get the correction or any move within this below the trend line before we get the down move. This one I explained in my weekly analysis. Anyway, we don't have any trade setup. If we want to get the sell, we prefer to get the bigger correction. And if the price drop from here, we are not going to trade it because we don't have any trade setup unless we trade this on lower time frame. And as we can see here, whether this one is continuing and move lower, we are not sure. Okay, anyway, we don't have any trade setup, and having entry below this is not a really good idea. In this case, we just wait and see how we can trade it. If I see any more information or any trade setup, I will share on YouTube. Thanks.